Get ready for an exciting, eye-opening, and full of surprises full moon in Taurus on Friday, November 15th. As it conjoins Uranus, it urges you to become the source of change and transformation in your life and reminds you that the discomfort sometimes is necessary in order to find peace. Let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you enjoy my work, please take a few moments of your time to leave me a like, a comment, subscribe, press that notification bell. If you have time, watch more of my videos. All of that brings algorithm, makes it friendlier, helps my channel grow. I really appreciate that. You can also say thank you by buying me a tea, a coffee, a croissant. Thank you to everyone who takes advantage of that, and just in general, thank you for being here, being a loyal subscriber and watching my videos. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Before we dive in, as always, if you're curious, if you want to understand your chart, you're really interested in astrology and you're ready for that personal guidance, personal look, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. It is a great time to look at the year ahead. 2025 is right around the corner. On my website, you can also pick up my 2025 astrology planner. It is full of insights about transits, about lunations. It has journaling pages helping you set intentions, and so much more. Positive dates, challenging dates, anything you need to make your year better and more productive and more successful. On my website, you can also find a variety of candles I create. For example, my Moon in Cancer 2 is arguably my favorite candle of all because it has the most soothing, calming energy. It smells like moonflower nectar and it's really beautiful. It's decorated with the silver foil. And this one was created when Moon was in the sign of rulership. When it was waxing, you always have to create it early in the year because in the second half of the year, Moon in Cancer begins to wane. So this is a really great kind of candle for fertility, increasing your manifestation powers. I highly recommend this for any new moon when you're setting your intentions. It can also bring more ease, more comfort, relaxation in your life and help you chill out. Especially good if you're born with your Moon in Capricorn or Scorpio. This is a go-to for those people. And really good for Cancer risings. Thank you for listening. So let's talk about the upcoming full moon in Taurus. So it occurs on Friday, November 15th, and it is exact at 4:28 p.m. Eastern. So you'd need to adjust for your time zone to see when exactly it occurs for you. Let's say if you are in Nepal, then for you it's going to be already Saturday, November 16th. And it happens at 24 degrees Taurus. Exactly 24 degrees, 0 minutes. So you will feel it the most, of course, if you have planets really closely aspecting the full moon. I usually give it 3-degree orb meaning 3 degrees on each side. So from 21 to 27 degrees Taurus. Let's say your Mercury is in Taurus and the full moon is occurring right next to your Mercury. Maybe it's some type of intellectual groundbreaking experience. Maybe it's time for you to start a website or write a book. Like there might be some kind of intellectual transformation that you're experiencing with this full moon. But anyone with planets, angles, like your ascendant, descendant, midheaven, IC, between 21, 27 degrees Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius, because the full moon then is making strong aspects. What is a full moon? So we start the lunar cycle with a new moon, and we've had the new moon in Taurus in May 2024. So you may have started something. You may have literally planted a seed of something. And it is worth looking back at May 2024, early May, to see what kind of projects you may have been working on, what kind of, like Taurus deals with money, deals with career, it deals with stability, your home, your yard, your backyard, people in your life, your family. So perhaps back in May, in early May, you have set off on a journey of some sorts, and the new moon would have been very much, like I said, new beginnings. And then with the full moon, we are reaching completion. It's like a seed that you have planted now blooming and now bearing fruit. So here you're experiencing some type of change, culmination, recognition for the work that you've been doing. Let's say you've literally had planted a seed and now it has grown in a strong, beautiful plant. But a seed could be anything, right? It could be a project at work. It could be a relationship. It could be a new house. That would depend on your personal chart. In order to understand the full moon in Taurus, we should understand Taurus, right? Taurus is a Venus-ruled sign, so it's very much pleasure-oriented. It's very grounded because it's an earthy sign, so it's all about creating that stability in a Venusian way, right? Creating comfort, creating security, creating abundance, attracting abundance. So this full moon is bringing your attention towards that. Are you happy with your resources? Are you happy with your environment? What needs to change? Do you feel stable in your job? Do you feel like it's worth it, right? Do you feel happy in your relationship? So a lot of these questions of like, what makes you feel secure? And the full moon suggests change. So it's either maybe a need to let something go that doesn't serve you, or perhaps recognize and recommit or celebrate the things that do bring you peace and change and peace and stability. This full moon might also offer you a chance to connect with your body, become more aware of your body, of your routines, of your habits. A beautiful opportunity to perhaps revise certain things. And since Taurus, the shadow side of Taurus could be being stubborn, it might also be a nice opportunity to examine where are you being stubborn and where you need to maybe let some of that stubbornness go, or what things do you need to recommit to and continue being stubborn about, like let's say your health. The ruler of the full moon is Venus in Capricorn, which is a very harmonious energy. Venus in Capricorn values ambition, recognition. It values authority. It's ready to work hard. So it's like, once again, what is worth looking into, what is worth working hard. And of course, we cannot avoid talking about this full moon without talking about the fact that it conjoins Uranus. And so the full moon conjunct Uranus is an important energy, and we actually have the sun opposing Uranus shortly after the full moon. So this energy colors the sun opposes Uranus on November 16th. I'm like, where are we? What month is it? So the sun will oppose Uranus, and the moon, of course, conjoins Uranus. Uranus is a rebel. Uranus is an innovator. Uranus is unafraid to shake things up. So this full moon carries that weight of surprises, disruptions, changes, and changes to Taurian things, changes involving money, involving resources, involving your roof over your head, your relationships. It's quite likely with the moon Uranus conjunction that your stability, the stability of your life, will get disrupted somehow. And the important fact with Uranus being in Taurus is that those disruptions are meant to create ultimately more peace in your life. Sometimes you have to shake things up. Sometimes you have to experience discomfort. Like, let's say quitting a job that is soul draining. If you quit a job, it is likely that it's not going to be, it might be scary. You might not know what's coming next. You might be out of money for a while, and all of those things are enough for some people to stay at the soul draining job forever. But I think this full moon is saying that, like, sometimes you have to be uncomfortable. Sometimes you have to push yourself so that the universe can deliver something better. So the moon conjunct Uranus is these like surprises that push you, or you being the source of change and you being the initiator of surprises. It can bring up some kind of unique encounter, right? Like moon conjunct Uranus can also be you suddenly get a job offer that takes you to France, and now you have to consider whether it's worth it or not. There are also very strong freedom loving energy with this full moon. It's like, you know, is the comfort worth it? The question sometimes. Is it worth it to be in a comfortable relationship that feels like a pair of old slippers that has been worn and familiar and has the shape of your foot, right? But is that better than, let's say, putting yourself out there and like stepping out of your comfort zone? So it's an interesting full moon for sure. I do like that it sextiles Neptune in Pisces and trines Pluto at the very end of Capricorn. So I think the trine to Pluto at the end of Capricorn has this like final, it's a completion of a storyline energy too, right? Because we're trining Pluto and we're on some level looking at the story that's been going since 2008 and appreciating how far we've come and how much we've learned, how much we've grown and how much we have learned as well. And this exile to Neptune gives you sensitivity and compassion that is necessary to deal with the harsh realities of the world. So it could be quite exciting. I think there is that energy of like rebellion. Either life throws something at you that you have to prepare for and deal with, or you are the one who says that's enough and I'm ready for something else. I'm ready for more. And of course, it can also be like an eye-opening experience. Something happens and you realize how much you already have in life that you can cherish and value. Please share how this resonates. Maybe you're feeling this energy already. And if you're looking for personal guidance, you want to know what the year ahead has in store for you, you have questions about your relationship or your life, book a reading at anastasia.astrology.com. And let's dive into the 12 rising signs and talk about this full moon through the lens of the signs to see what it might be bringing your way. Starting, of course, with Aries rising, the full moon in Taurus is highlighting your second house and it conjoins Uranus. And the ruler is Venus in the 10th, so very much professionally, financially oriented energy. It might also suggest that your values are changing because on a deeper level, second house rules your priorities. So when the full moon occurs here and it conjoins Uranus, there is a sign that something in your life feels maybe outdated, that you're ready for new beginnings, you're ready for a new chapter, right? Like that Uranian, you want freedom on some level. So if there has been any financial dealings or any ties you have to other people, maybe professionally, maybe in terms of agreements you have, right? Like promises you made to someone, the full moon in the second house conjunct Uranus is almost like this lucky break, this opportunity to go for the border and like escape the daunting things, release the burdens, release the frustration and find more freedom. And we are completing the chapter that got started with the new moon in Taurus in May 2024. So take a look back and see what was happening with your finances, with your job, with your priorities, and maybe see how things have changed. Like let's say in May you started paying off a debt and you finally do, or you got a freelance gig and now you complete it and you have freedom to go in your own direction and do your own thing. It might also, with the fact that we've been having North Node in the first house, like this full moon can also be about shedding your view of comfort or shedding your idea of what you need to feel secure, right? Maybe you've always felt like you need to be close to your family, or you need to live in a certain country, like you can't leave, and maybe now you're realizing that the world is your oyster and you can do whatever you want and you can define yourself. But very much like welcoming freedom, prioritizing maybe new things, right? It's the full moon in Taurus. It's about stability. It's about creating stability in your life, but perhaps in a unique way. And Uranus is a rebel. Uranus is an innovator. So it can also be about welcoming new ways of making money, like making money through working with AI, working with technology, working with healing protocols, healing modalities, right? Becoming a healer, things like that. Like, so it's both a way to release an old concept of yourself and a release an actual maybe chain that is holding you down. Strike those chains with the sword of your self-awareness. Please share how this resonates. Do you remember what was happening in May in your life? And if you're looking for personal guidance, you're curious to know what the year ahead has in store, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I also highly recommend my Venus and Taurus candle if you're seeking financial abundance, wealth, and stability. For the lovely Taurus rising, we have the full moon conjoining Uranus in your first house, ruled by Venus in the 9th. So this full moon has this very spiritual, very philosophical, very eye-opening energy, right? The ruler being Venus in the 9th suggests that you are learning, you're growing, you're opening yourself up to new ideas, new perspectives. There's something changing in your life. And then if we were to zoom in and look at things that might be changing in your life with Venus in the 9th house, you might be going back to school. You might be learning a foreign language. You might be moving. You might be connecting with foreign people, studying, becoming a teacher, right? Becoming a philosophy teacher, becoming some kind of guide and mentor for other people. The Venus in the 9th could be your eyes opening to religions, to philosophies of the world, to yoga, to astrology, and you kind of like embracing these new perspectives and finding a way to accommodate them into your personality. And the full moon conjunct Uranus also feels like devil may care attitude. Like if you've been considering what people might think, if you've been sort of ruminating about certain things, questions. Oops. I hope it's not too loud. I'm just dropping things. But if you've been thinking about your role in the world, and if you've been wondering, like, what would people think? Because when you are Venus ruled, and I can confirm as a Libra rising, also Venus ruled, there might be a lot of kind of attention on what people might think of you, whether they would approve of you or not. And so this full moon is this, like I said, devil may care. It's like, I am this way, this is who I am, and this is what I want to do. We are completing the chapter started in May 2024 with the new moon in Taurus. And so take a look back. There might be physical changes that you're also going through because first house rules your body. So transformations to your body, right? Like you decide to get a tattoo that people do not approve of, but you're like, whatever, it makes me happy, I'm gonna do it. Or you decide to get some kind of plastic surgery or something else, whatever it is. Like maybe you decide to start lifting weights and your partner doesn't want you to bulk up. Like it's very much, what is it that you believe in with Venus in the 9th house? And how does that reflect in your look, in your style, in your personality, in the way you answer the question of who are you? So that is transforming. Please share if you remember what was happening in your life in May 2024, what was starting, what you might be completing right now. And if you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. We can look at your year coming up, your relationship, your natal chart, or anything else. And highly, highly recommend my Venus in Taurus candle. It's perfect for you because you are Taurus risings, and it could be a lovely candle for your relationships. It can help create peace, harmony, ease, more understanding in relationships. It's great for manifesting a partner, as well as inspiration and creativity are synonymous with Venus and Taurus. So definitely check that out at anastasiadoesastrology.com. Moving on to the Gemini rising. If you are a Gemini rising, the full moon is happening in your 12th house. And the ruler is Venus in the 8th. And this is an interesting full moon. With it being in the 12th house, it might have a little bit of like melancholy, sadness, a little bit of kind of mysterious energy to it. You might be feeling things, you might be reflecting on the past. But I really like it, I think, because it conjoins Uranus, so it has this liberating energy. And 12th house is the place of mental health. It's the place of escaping. It's the place of self-defeating tendencies, self-doubt, self-criticism, a lot of challenging emotions. So when the full moon illuminates this part of your life, it offers a breakthrough. It offers a chance to see things differently. And because the ruler is Venus in the 8th, and 8th house deals with agreements and debts and loans that you are paying off or people are paying off to you, including these karmic entanglements we have with other people. The full moon in the 12th house has the power to maybe liberate you from some of those dependencies and agreements with other people. Maybe you get someone who owes you money or who owes you things, pays you the debt that they owe you, or you release some kind of heavy burden that you've been carrying in your heart. I just came, as you probably already heard me talk about, but I just came from Nepal, and one of my yoga teachers there, she would talk a lot about like we carry so much heaviness in our hearts and so many burdens. And it's true for many of us. And so I think for you, Gemini rising, with the full moon in the 12th house, it's your opportunity to set things aside and to, on some level, let yourself enjoy life and enjoy the beauty and enjoy things you have, right? It's interesting because 12th house always represents our blind spots. And so with you guys having Taurus in the 12th house, the blind spot might be this sense of perhaps a lack of like awareness of your body or connection with your body, and maybe like struggling to enjoy the pleasures of life, unless of course you have planets in Taurus or some other earth planets. Maybe then it's easier for you. But I think this full moon is very liberating, very healing. Could suggest that there are also financial changes and financial sort of burdens you're releasing, and breakthroughs in therapy, changes around healing, maybe taking your imaginative creative project, bringing it into visibility and sort of showing it to the world. I can see here too. And we are completing the chapter that got started in May 2024. So take a look back and let me know if you remember what was happening in terms of mental health, in terms of spirituality, imagination, creativity at that time, what might be coming full circle right now. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I can look at your natal chart, your year to come, and your relationship, and pick up my Mercury in Virgo 2 candle, because Mercury is about to go retrograde and you are Mercury ruled. So this can help you avoid miscommunications, crossed wires, delays, and other problems so classical of Mercury retrograde. For the beautiful Cancer rising, the full moon conjoins Uranus in your 11th house, and it rules Venus in the 7th. Here you're looking at your social dynamics, at your relationships with other people, your friendships, as well as your hopes and dreams that likely involve other people. So the full moon conjunct Uranus here could represent completing some type of project you've been involved in, and perhaps freeing yourself from something that's been dragging you down, right? Like let's say you've been working really hard, or you've been studying something or writing something, and it's been feeling like it's just too much and you're overwhelmed by it. So the full moon conjunct Uranus could be a chance to free yourself. Since it's also the house of friendships and social dynamics, the full moon conjunct Uranus can inspire you to maybe speak your mind and express yourself to a friend, especially if things have been tense and difficult. It can also be a chance to break away from a social engagement or a person that feels like they are maybe taking too much of your time and they're creating a sense of discomfort. So whatever changes you need to make in order to have more comfort are highlighted here. The fact that the ruler is Venus in the 7th also could suggest that there are some kind of transformations involving love or business partnerships. Let's say you've been talking to someone you know, to a friend, about possibly starting a podcast together or starting a business together. The full moon conjunct Uranus in the 11th could be like, okay, let's quit our jobs and move to Bali and open a surfing school or something like that. So there's these interesting developments. And I think with Venus in the 7th, it can also be a romantic development in your friendship or an opportunity to start a partnership with your significant other. This is completing a chapter started in May 2024 when we had the new moon in Taurus. So take a look back and reflect on what kind of themes might be coming back around for you, and ask yourself what dynamics, which relationships are healthy for you versus which ones maybe are dragging you down and sort of taking too much of your time. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadasastrology.com. I'd be happy to look at your year to come. You can also pick up my 2025 planner to get yourself prepared for the year to come, or my Moon in Cancer candle, which is just what I would choose for any Cancer rising. It's super soothing, calming, relaxing, and great for manifestation. So now if you are the beautiful Leo rising, the full moon conjoins Uranus in your 10th house, and it is ruled by Venus in the 6th. Here we are completing the professional chapter that started in May 2024. And it is exciting because the ruler is Venus in the 6th, and she suggests that you are in this state of mind where you want to enjoy work more, you want to have happier relationships, you want to have not just big goals, but you want every day to reflect that sense of peace and stability and success that you are craving. Leo risings with hair, so gotta talk about Leos and do hair toss. But yes, you're focused on creating professional stability and abundance. And so the full moon conjunct Uranus in the 10th can suggest that there is a unique opportunity that is somehow disruptive, that is somehow surprising, and puts you outside of your comfort zone, but is meant to create more wealth and more kind of groundedness and stability for you. It might be that something like, you suddenly get a job offer in a different country, or you get a different sort of career path shows up in front of you and it makes you feel uncomfortable, but it's actually quite liberating. Or even a project showing up in your existing career, like that is a possibility too. I can see for some of you a strong urge to quit because you just feel, especially if you're not happy with the job, and just desire to let it go and go off on your own. Maybe you're starting a side hustle, maybe you're starting a business also, and with the fact that it's conjoining Uranus, it's like doing something on your own, starting a business, doing work that is futuristic, scientific, quirky, and something that gets you excited. Take a look back at May and let me know what was happening in your life, in your professional life at that point. You can leave that in the comments below. And if you're looking for personal guidance, you want to understand yourself better and you want me to answer your questions, I'd be happy to do your reading, look at your 2025 and answer any questions you have. You can find that and you can book a reading at anastasiadasastrology.com. On there, you can also pick up a candle or an oil. Highly, highly recommend my Sunlight in a Jar series. These are decorated with golden foil and they capture the sun in Leo. So it's all about visibility, confidence, support of people in power, and your self-expression. So perfect for Leo risings. For the lovely Virgo rising, the full moon is happening in your 9th house and it is ruled by Venus in the 5th. So here you're looking at completion, change, transformation, some kind of culmination in the sector of education, travel, writing, publishing, and philosophy or religion. And the fact that the ruler is Venus in the 5th, that suggests that you are very much driven by the desire to enjoy life more, by the desire to be more playful, more creative, more authentic, even the desire to be a parent or a desire to be in a relationship. So considering those things, if we're looking at the full moon conjunct Uranus in your 9th house, it makes me wonder, could you be moving? because you are seeking some kind of pleasant experience, right? You feel ready to change your neighborhood and be closer to your local pool, or you want to move to be closer with your foreign lover. Lover, what a weird word, but to your foreign romantic interest, right? Maybe you're moving because you want to go back to school. The full moon in the ninth could be a sign of restarting education or actually graduating. Maybe you're taking some kind of exam. Ninth house also represents legal matters, so there might be a legal matter wrapping up, or if you've been waiting on a visa, some type of, legal document to come through for you, this could be the time when that happens as well. And changes around writing, publishing, right? Like sort of birthing a project with Venus in the fifth house, like you finish writing a book you've been working on and you get a sense of accomplishment there. The conjunction to Uranus is very both kind of like scientific and suggests that you're maybe starting to use AI in your work, or you're opening yourself up to new possibilities. You're maybe starting to work more independently. And it can also suggest that you are breaking away from something, right? Full moon conjunct Uranus, breaking away from old beliefs, from old place of living, from old knowledge, old concept. Even changing, like a lawyer or something, being like, okay, I've had enough, this is over, let's go find somebody else. Take a look back at May 2024 to see what kind of projects were you starting at this time, what might be coming full circle for you right now. And if you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to take a look at your 2025, talk about the year coming up, your natal chart, your relationship, and more. And I also highly, highly recommend my Mercury in Virgo candle for you guys, because you are Mercury ruled. This falls in your first house, helping you communicate. And it can also be really lovely during Mercury retrograde. And we have one coming up just at the end of November. So it's perfect for any Virgo rising. If you are the beautiful, beautiful Libra rising, there's a full moon conjunct Uranus in your 8th house, ruled by Venus in the 4th. And this is interesting, right? I see this as both related to healing and shedding something and transforming, likely some kind of childhood wound, maybe a toxic dynamic with a family member, maybe some type of change involving your, even like people you live with, some type of like healing there. Or I can see this as a financial transformation, right? Take a look back at what was happening in your finances, in your agreements with other people, loans, debts, dependencies on others back in May 2024 when we had the new moon in Taurus, because this is a completion of that, the full moon in Taurus. So the full moon in the 8th conjunct Uranus being ruled by Venus in the 4th feels like maybe you're paying off a mortgage. Maybe you're completing some kind of home renovation project and sort of buying the final supplies you need for that. Maybe you're paying off a loan that you've taken out from a family member, or a family member is paying something off to you. The changes financially and otherwise might also be affecting your partner, because full moon in the 8th is also about partners' resources. And Venus in the 4th very much indicates this like current attitude to enjoy beauty in the home, to connect with people in the home, to throw family get-togethers, to go maybe see family. And so the full moon conjunct Uranus in the 8th could be, maybe you like say no to some kind of project, or you let go of some kind of partnership, or even find ways to have more freedom to do what you want to do, so that you can enjoy being kind of at home, cozy and warm right now, because it's the time, 'tis the season to be jolly. La 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 la, almost la 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 la. So that's how it feels, and I feel like it's a very liberating. It could be about closing chapters. It could potentially also be about starting new chapters where you find sort of relationships, agreements, maybe even financial situations that are a little bit more liberating. That's funny because my landlord just reached out asking if I could pay rent via Zelle, which is somewhat maybe liberating. I don't know if that's what this full moon is for me yet because it's too early, but it could be about that. So please share how this resonates. If you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadasastrology.com. I'd be happy to dive into your natal chart, talk about your year coming up, your relationship, and more. And on my website, you can also pick up my 2025 astrology planner, 223 pages filled with insights about transits, astrological guides, journaling prompts, calendars with good dates, challenging dates, so much more. Everything you need in here. For the beautiful Scorpio rising, there's a full moon conjunct Uranus in your 7th house, ruled by Venus in the 3rd. Major changes in relationships, right? Take a look back at what was happening in your romantic business partnerships. Have you started looking for some kind of contract to sign? Have you started a creative collaboration back in May when we had the new moon in Taurus? Because this is a completion of that. So the full moon conjunct Uranus in the 7th could be about some type of big, like surprise in the relationship. It could be about having a conversation with your partner, discovering something about them, or maybe they ask you to open up the relationship. So something that you're not quite expecting maybe, but in the long run, it could be perhaps just what the relationship needs. It could be about the relationship changing if you're about to welcome a child. I know one Scorpio rising that is about to welcome a child. So like a relationship completely being reborn, right? Because now it's not just about the two of you, but it's also about children. The ruler being Venus in the 3rd definitely adds a creative sort of business aspect to it. So for some, it might be a completion of a creative collaboration. It might be a business shift. It might be like a change in schedule, right? Oftentimes, the full moon in the 7th could be inspired by the changes that your partner is going through. Maybe there's something that is transforming in their life. They get a unique opportunity. They go through a life shift. They buy a Lamborghini. And then that affects your relationship. But I think it's like an opportunity to innovate the relationship or deal with surprising twist of events that ultimately brings more stability and peace and harmony in your life. And please share if you remember what was happening in terms of romance, business agreements, contracts, negotiations back in May in your life. If you're looking for personal guidance, you want to know what the year ahead has in store, or you have relationship questions, book a reading with me at anastasiadasastrology.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, talk about whatever your heart desires. Additionally, on my website, you can pick up my 2025 astrology planner or my Venus in Taurus candle, which could be perfect for your love life. Highly recommend. If you are a Sagittarius rising, the full moon conjoins Uranus in your 6th house, and it is ruled by Venus in the 2nd. Very work, money, values-oriented full moon. So here you're seeking freedom, you're seeking liberation, you're seeking professional changes that allow for more, let's say, I think, better pay. So for some of you, maybe it's the time to quit the job that doesn't pay or appreciate you, or it's the time to go talk to your boss, be that Promethean character, go and tell them what you seek, what you want, what you deserve. So the full moon conjunct Uranus could be about that. It could also be about perhaps transforming your career and choosing, maybe you're choosing to stay home more, or you're asking for a project that allows you to travel more. Somehow the full moon in the 6th house will change how you do work and your like everyday life and everyday sort of mundane routines. It could also be about health, Venus in the 2nd house. Maybe you're investing into your health or investing into learning about nutrition and becoming a dietitian or becoming a healer of some kind. So quite a few possibilities here. Take a look back at May 2024 when we had the new moon in Taurus, because this would be a completion of that, you know, sort of a callback to that. And if you're looking for personal guidance, you have questions that only a one-on-one talk with me will answer, book a reading at anastasiadasastrology.com. I'd be happy to talk about your year to come, your relationship, your natal chart, and anything else. And I highly recommend my Mercury in Virgo 2 candle for you guys, because we are about to experience Mercury retrograde. And so this would be a really, really great choice. All of that and more on my website, anastasiadasastrology.com. Now, if you are the beautiful Capricorn rising, the full moon conjoins Uranus in your 5th house, and the ruler is Venus in the 1st. This feels very playful, very creative, very romantic, very much pregnant. So for some of you, the full moon conjunct Uranus in the 5th, you know, if that's what you're looking for, if that's what you're aiming for and trying, could literally be finding out you're pregnant or giving birth. Maybe it's like unexpected that you give birth this early, right? Like maybe you were due 2 weeks later, but like the child comes a little bit early. But it can also be birthing of anything else, right? Like the 5th house is the house of pleasure. So the full moon conjunct Uranus here could be birthing of a creative project, birthing of a romantic partnership, right? Some type of like freedom to express yourself, freedom to be who you are, going for things that really make you happy. The ruler is Venus in the 1st, and the goal is to have more joy. But like Venus in the 1st house also points towards like body and style and image and look and health. And so pregnancy and changes in the body connected to that are very much possible, but also, you know, changes to your style, changes to how you define yourself, to what you do for a living is quite likely. The conjunction to Uranus in the 5th can also indicate that you're maybe transforming your romantic relationship, right? Maybe you're deciding to open yourself up to dating both men and women, or you're opening up your marriage, or you are, you know, you're welcoming some kind of shift, maybe even deciding to commit but live separately, right? There might be some type of like opportunity to revolutionize a relationship while being true to yourself. And changes in the lives of children I can see here too, like something changing around kids, and that affects your life as well. And in order to know and understand this a little bit better, take a look at May 2024 and what was happening in your life around that time, because that would have been the new moon in Taurus, so new beginnings, and now we're coming full circle, so it's all connected. If you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadasastrology.com. We can talk about your year coming up. 2025 is right here. Your natal chart, your relationship, or anything else you'd like. And pick up my Venus in Taurus candle. It's perfect for romance, inspiration, creativity, and even fertility. Cancer moon is also great for that. For the lovely Aquarius rising, there's a full moon conjunct Uranus in your 4th house. So here we're looking at the sector of home, family, comfort, and security. And the ruler is Venus in the 12th. So this is interesting. Like immediately I think of moving and relocating and getting away, right? Is a possibility here. But also maybe healing. Full moon conjunct Uranus in the 4th. You are letting go of a wound. You are changing your perspective. You're liberating yourself. Uranus is very much liberating and maybe shaking things up, dusting the cobwebs so that you can have more stability and inner peace. So liberating, changing dynamics, maybe changes in the home if you're not moving, but maybe you're going through some kind of, you know, like you're becoming a member of the housing association, or you're actually quitting the housing association and separating yourself. Completing a home renovation project, finishing to pay off your like loans and mortgage potentially is possible here as well. It does have the energy of like surprises, so something might maybe happen in the family that like puts you more front and center. Let's say you were supposed to go to your sister for Thanksgiving and she says that she won't be able to do it, and so you have to do it. So it's like this opportunity to change your role in the family, or you have to set better boundaries with the family, maybe like some kind of, some kind of change there. Changes involving family members, like somebody giving birth, somebody maybe moving in or moving out, are all possible here. Take a look back at May 2024, because that would have been the new beginning, new moon energy, and now this is a completion change. And if you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, talk about your year coming up, your relationship, or your natal chart. And you can also pick up my 2025 planner on there to help yourself get ready for the year to come. Now to the beautiful Pisces rising. There's a full moon conjunct Uranus in your 3rd house, and the ruler is Venus in the 11th. So the full moon conjunct Uranus in the 3rd represents a shift, a transformation, liberation in your schedule, in your mind, in your immediate environment, right? The full moon in the 3rd could be, okay, I'm done with this project. Okay, I'm done with this job. I'm free to do whatever I want. Okay, I'm graduating. I just finished. I just took this exam and I don't have to worry about studying anymore, right? So some type of like completion shift is possible here. Changes in the lives of the siblings are also possible. Changes in the lives of the neighbors. The ruler is Venus in the 11th, so there is like a strong focus on friendships and your dynamics with other people, your social dynamics. Venus in the 11th really wants to get along and find like-minded people. And so the full moon in the 3rd conjunct Uranus might also be about you opening time in your schedule, or, finishing something so that you have more time to hang out, so that you have more time to build relationships with other people. There might also be, both of these houses read as like very community oriented to me. So maybe you are getting more involved with people around you. You're starting to go to the homes of elders. You're starting to help people in your community. You're maybe beginning to teach yoga classes or do Reiki, or just somehow put yourself, like, take a look back at what was happening in your life in May 2024 when we had the new moon in Taurus in your 3rd house. And please share if you remember down below. But if you, let's say you started studying something, now you are done with it and you feel ready to take it to the next level. Venus in the 11th might also be a sign that you're like working towards your dreams and you're gathering knowledge, gathering wisdom and experience so that you can move closer to doing the work that you're dreaming about. And yeah, any kind of talents, interests, gifts involving writing, creativity, imagination can be highlighted at this time. The conjunction to Uranus in the 3rd can of course bring an element of like disruption and like a surprise, maybe a difficult conversation that is also eye-opening, but you learn what people think and you're like, oh, I didn't realize they saw me as a healer, or like, oh, I didn't realize that I was being a little maybe like selfish or something. Like there might be very much an opportunity to like see yourself through the lens of other people and what they think, but don't let the opinions of other people affect you too much. If you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to talk about your year coming up, your relationship, or your natal chart. 2025 is right around the corner. It's a great time to start, gearing up, and you can also pick up my 2025 astrology planner on my website and get ready for what's to come. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate all of the support. I got this beautiful light behind me today, so I hope you enjoyed this video I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it, and I'll talk to you soon.